I'm your host, Logan Norton the Reader. Joining me for the Rake and Recluse, Chapter 16. Francine. You wake up the next morning, abuzz with excitement for the day ahead. Gideon's promised you a day out in London, and you've chosen to wear frilly coloured green dress. Cauliflower? Perhaps no. Asparagus. Ruffly purple dress. I actually like that one a little bit more. Ooh. Blue brocade dress. I like that. Especially like the blue pennon. That one's not bad. I could see a little bit of black in here too. But we'll go with freely colored greens. Not too shabby. You meet Gideon in the parlor of the Roxley house. It's not Eldon Manor, but it certainly has style. Gideon stares at you blankly, his usual welcoming smile a thing of past. His voice is gruff when he says, "Shall we be off then?" You nod and follow him out to the carriage. Did I wear the wrong thing? But you doubt the storm cloud that's hanging over Gideon has anything to do with your fashion choices. I'll just have to see if I can cheer him up. Snuggle side by side in the carriage, Gideon smiles tightly down at you. He seems to be making an effort, at least. It's not me, then. I wonder what's got him up so upset. Where to, my lady? I should pick Whitechapel, Baker Street, Abbey Road, Whitechapel. Let's head for Whitechapel. Whitechapel, if you've been watching my vampire series. Gideon gives you a curious look. I suppose it's safe enough in the daylight. He bids the driver onward, and the carriage careens through the streets of London. Welcome to Whitechapel. Eventually, it ends up in the infamous Whitechapel Street. Care to explain your interests? I'm just glad I didn't wake up as a prostitute. I beg your pardon. You shrug and give him a mysterious smile. You just never know where life could lead you. After a rather morbid tour of Whitechapel, you bid the driver take you to Baker Street and Abbey Road. Gideon seems perplexed by your choices, but as time drags on, his dour mood lightens. When the carriage pulls up outside Roxley House, he's even smiling, until he sees the other carriage waiting outside. Who could that be? I believe your sisters have made it to London. Why are you upset? What? Oh. A storm of butterflies takes flight in your stomach. And that has you upset? Your brother has accompanied them. My brother, excuse me. Before you can ask what that means, Gideon has mounted the steps to Roxley House and led you to the parlor. The sisters are immediately recognizable, not only because they're not the only ones of women in the room, but because they look just like sisters. They look like my sisters. When they see you, they immediately perk up. The younger one looks about to spring out of her chair, but the older one holds her back. Even the dresses complement each other. You approach slowly, feeling completely out of your depth. I should ask if they speak English, introduce yourselves, greet them like old friends. Introduce yourself. Hello, I'm Francine. Feel a blush heat your cheeks. I mean, Madeline. They're your sisters. They know who you are better than you do. Which, you know, of course. The girls look at you, matching pouts of confusion. I haven't even gotten a look like that since I first arrived at Eldon, and Gideon thought I was crazy. I'm delighted you're here. Do not fret. We are told you have issues with your memory. I am Mercy, and this is Amelia. We are so happy to be here. You cannot imagine the ogres Papa had in store for us. This new guardian is so much more agreeable. Well, you're quite beautiful with your eyes. Holy shit. It's like she's a vampire. Look into my eyes. Oh my god. Amelia's eyes travel to Perry, who stands brutally in the corner. The sister's gaze is more than a little affectionate. Perry guiltily cuts his eyes away to Gideon, who in turn is glaring at Perry in an excessive degree, even for him. I think I've found the source of Gideon's grumpiness. I do hope we will be the greatest friends, just like we have always been. Yes, like we have always been. Someday you will remember everything. Someday. Until then, stop finishing each other's goddamn sentences. This is getting annoying. We'll be friends. Precisely. You cannot help but feel a bit jealous of their bond. No, I'm not jealous of that. Will we ever be like that? Or have that? Or will I always be forgetful stranger? Where will we be staying? Yes, we hope dearly to stay with you. You'll be living with me at Trumbull House. You girls and Francine. Why are you upset now? Why the fuck are both of you at odds end? Most men would give their right leg and maybe even the left to have 3 women under their house. Just never mind. Your head snaps in Perry's direction. You're relieved to see that Gideon looks equally astounded. I beg your pardon, brother. I am their guardian. All 3 of them. It's only proper they live with me. Perry crosses his arms and gives Gideon a dark look. You cannot keep your intended alone in a house with you. Gideon strides forward until he's practically in Perry's face. Is that so? Then I insist that if you are to take Francine and her sisters, I reassume custody of Lily. She is my maid, after all. Lily? What does she have to do with this? Perry barrels on as if he hadn't heard you speak. Lily will not be staying at the Roxley house. She made it perfectly clear she no longer deserves your employ. So you employ her instead? The question is pronounced with such scorn that even you begin to guess what's going on. The sisters look shocked at the turn of conversation. I'd better interrupt this before it gets worse, or I'll tell them to stop acting like children. Both of you stop this now. You're frightening our new guests and embarrassing me with your childishness. They look taken aback for a moment, then resume glaring at each other. If you continue to behave like this, I'll grab both of you by the ears and drag you out into the street. It'll be easier to sling mud at each other out there. The sisters gasp in shock. Gideon looked sheepish, but then set his jaw. The Larrabees will remain here, where they can be looked after by someone responsible and trustworthy. Perry looks stunned and hurt. I want to defend him, but I also don't want to be separated from Gideon. I should defend Perry. Gideon, that's not fair. You know Perry would never... Odie, Francine. I see quite clearly my brother's opinion of me. I'll bid you all farewell. Perry storms out of the room without a backward glance. Perry... Gideon glowers at the door, and you turn back to the sisters. They look shocked, perhaps a little excited by the drama. Why don't you two head upstairs? You'll find a maid there who can show you to your rooms. They giggle, then nod, scurrying past Gideon and out the door. There's a long silence as you stare at Gideon. He guiltily avoids your eye. Eventually he yields to your silent wrath. He throws up his arms in defeat. You will not believe what Perry has done. What? You and Lily are together? Gideon's surprise that you're guessing correctly is soon eclipsed by his outrage. Do you honestly think Lily would or could enter a consenting relationship, the sort my brother is prone to, after all she has suffered? Gideon, my brother is the Viscount of Roxley in name, but a rake of the worst order by action. Sleeping in the waning light so he can attend society parties in the evenings and entertain women deep into the night. Is that any of your business? Really? We get it. You're more prim and proper. You're just like me. But is that any of your business? See, that's where I'm different. It's none of our business. openly dedicated his life to the pursuit of pleasure and ruination of innocence the countryside over. His growl resonates deep in his throat. He is taking advantage of her. I cannot believe I trusted him. Now, only with Marzi and Amelia's welfare, but yours as well. Now that you see his anger is partly mirrored in concern, your annoyance evaporates. I should tell him he's being a punk. You've never struck me as a fool, Gideon. His jaw drops. And neither is your brother. Maybe you should find out what's actually going on before you rush to judgment. The tension drains from his shoulders as you approach. You reach out and take his hand in yours. He brings it to his mouth, kissing your palm. A soft sigh bite your lip. His eyes fix on your mouth, and soon his hand is on your jaw, tilting your face up to his. Your hands wind around his waist. You feel him tense whenever you touch, harden wherever you touch. You snake your hands to the front of his trousers. He lets out a low groan, then yanks himself violently from your arms. He strides away from you, raking a hand through his hair. You see what you do to me? I can scarcely sit in a room with you. I can't have a polite conversation, for my fear, my thoughts of you will color my words. My body yearns for you, my heart beats for you, my being strains for you. You have undone me, Francine. Wow. I don't know if I should be thrilled or offended. Not offended, thrilled, actually. You take a step toward him, hand outstretched, when he whips around and glares at you. You have turned me into my brother. Okay, now I'm offended. Into a rake. Excuse me. At least your brother chooses to be happy instead of wallowing in puritanical misery. Francine, it's a choice I'd like to have myself. But you have rid me of choice. I'm yours whether I like it or not. And right now, frankly, I'd rather not be. You push past him and into the front hall. Francine, where are you going? Come back here. I'm going for a ride. A ride? You mean to leave? You can't go out in London on your own. You roll around and stick your finger in Gideon's face. I think you'll find I can do whatever I set my mind to. If you stop doubting that fact, if you stop treating me like a child whose decisions must be made for her, then maybe I'll return. But in the meantime, I'm putting on some pants and going for a ride. The normal way. Head for the door, but Gideon calls after you. Francine, please! Don't follow me, Gideon. When you blame her. I don't. I don't blame her one bit. I mean, in a way, he called her a slut. Or, well, he said that basically she makes him become a rake, as they called it then. Now it's just manslut. Oh, man. Oh, I tell you. See, that's the thing is, I get it. I mean, back then it was a lot more prim, proper, the whole 9 yards. But, you're not really a rake. I mean, just because you have feelings for a woman and you're technically courting her, I mean, you're not going with a bunch of other women. You really had no women in your life at the time, the whole 9 yards. So, again, how are you a rake? You're nothing like your brother, and your brother's actually trying to change, so... Anyway, with that being said, I hope y'all did enjoy the video. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Head down description below, links to social media, our Discord, and a few links to support me and my content. And without further ado, I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace!